share this with your followers. We're going to get to talk about booty shots, which I wouldn't think I would ever talk about before. But the reason it's important to share with your followers on Periscope because it shows that you are live to your friends. Okay? All right, did y'all hear about the Wale situation where he called out Instagram model? I don't really want to show the picture. I'll show the picture real quick. Real quick. It's that Instagram model, her fake butt. Okay, she got a big old fake butt. And Wale put her up and said, "Dear black woman, this has to stop. This is not attractive. As black men, we apologize for misleading you to believe this is the quintessential black woman. Sorry for not cultivating, protecting, and loving your mind, soul, spirit, dreams, and ambition." And then he went on to say in the caption, "I can speak for most of us. I'm sorry if I ever made y'all feel like you need to ruin what God gave you. Some girls say they don't care what nobody thinks. I find it difficult to believe that one would alter their body this significantly for themselves. It must feel like sitting in a stack of phone books when they use the potty." The fact that they said stack of phone books and he said the potty was funny. "Ladies, I promise we like y'all for being sexy, but we love y'all, capital love, for being everything else." I saw this and I was like, you know what, Wale? You're right. But is it black men are black men the reason that butt shots are purchased? What do y'all think? Are black men the reason that butt shots, booty shots are purchased? Yes. I like big butts and I can. You almost did it, J. Michelle? Nope. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. Yes. No. Partially. Sarah. Nicki Minaj. Yes. No. Maybe. Nope. Low self-esteem. Nope. Nope. Yes. No. Maybe. Partly. I appreciate big butts. No. Yes. So we're about 50-50. Your doctor said it's not worth it. Why were you going to do it, J. Michelle? Competing? It's BET's fault. Tip drill. It's all tip drill. I never bought booty shorts for anyone. Of course not. It's insecurities. Insecurities. Men in general. Men in general. Whoever's in that pic got national shade. Booty competition. White men don't like butts like that. Okay, y'all can't be in here trading body parts. I got hips, give me some boobs. This ain't the black market for body parts. Okay. That does look painful. I'm going to just click off to another thing on my computer. I don't want to look over at that. Is it insecurity? Is insecurity the only reason people get plastic surgery? I don't know that that's the case. I don't know. Sometimes you just want to feel better about yourself. I don't think it's the only reason. Not in all cases. Most times, no. Sometimes I don't know, but it's like the whole makeup thing we were talking about. I remember we were talking about makeup and how men think that women wear makeup for them all the time, and a lot of times women wear makeup because they want to, and maybe I could see the point where women are like, all men are liking these girls with big booties, so let me get a booty. I feel like if you're, Ray Nicole, thank you, but my premiere's on Sunday. Women do it for other women. Men couldn't care less. That's what Yassi thinks. It's interesting. I feel like if it's in your job description, if it helps your job, women can do it. Women can do it for not men. Well, I guess they're still doing it for men. If you're a stripper, it might help you pay the rent a little easier. If you're a stripper and you're built like this iPad, and you're a stripper, you might either want to go back to school or get some enhancement, because you ain't gonna be able to pay the rent out here like Cash Money Records taking over for the 99, the 2000. Girl, you working with your back end. This is what you look like on the track, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So I can see. And it's not like black women are the only people getting plastic surgery. Baywatch girls and Playmates have been doing this for a long time. It's a lot of people. And it's not even black women that have get. I mean, the thing is, like, kind of like with makeup, it's so unbelievable sometimes. It's so like Kim Kardashian. It's so unbelievable. It's like, that's not unbelievable. I saw this tweet one time about this subject, and women were like, all these men liking Nicki Minaj butts, and they know it's fake. And the dude said, wrestling's fake, and so is Nicki Minaj's butt, and I like both. And I was just like, what are you talking about? I don't think people be real. That's just not even like realistic. That's not realistic. Now, here's the part I do agree with Wale, but it's unrelated to butt shots. I think as black men, we do need to apologize for not cultivating, protecting, and loving your mind, soul, spirit, dreams, and ambition. That part is so absolutely true. We be out there. Yes, there's a pic, Candace Gray. There's the pic. I don't want to show it long. We definitely have not cultivated, protected, loved their mind, soul, spirit, dreams, and ambition. That part is absolutely true. But to me, that's unrelated to butt shots. I think that's just in general. Like, I have never seen a culture of men dog another culture of women, of their women, like black men do. On Twitter, on social media, I'd be like, bro, like, if you prefer to date another race, then just say that. But we be out here saying, I don't like dark women, I don't like light women, I can't deal with black women. Like, I don't see other cultures do that as much. Even if a white guy, like Big Irish J, he's a white guy who prefers to date black women, but he ain't like, white women are trashy, ugly, and pink lips and whatever. Like, it doesn't seem like other cultures do that as much. So I'm just like, we definitely have taken, I mean, men in general take advantage of women, but I feel like other people just dog, we dog our women. Why are we dogging our women like that? Why are we out here dogging them rappers, calling them darkies, dark butts, and just, if you don't like natural hair, man, I don't like them natural girl. I mean, like, if that ain't your thing, then just shut up about it. Like, I like strawberry ice cream. I don't go around saying, ooh, pecan is gross. I hate pecan. I don't go around doing that. Just shut up. Go to the ice cream store and pick out the ice cream you like. But why we gotta belittle and destroy all the other beautiful women so they feel like this is the only way they can get attracted? Shut up, shut up. I feel like that's the truest part. And as men in general, we be so ready to have sex. We definitely ain't cultivating no mind, soul, spirit, dreams, and ambition. We don't even be caring, really. If we're gonna be honest, we don't be caring about nothing. Have y'all seen that meme of the dog who eats the little strawberry, and it's like when N-words get what they want finally? Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. It's a video of a dog, and the dog just gets a strawberry, and then he just disappears. And that's what we do, man. I'm sorry, man. We do that. And when I was a young and idiot, I mean, I was like 16 and 15, we do that. King Magazine and Angelica, don't be brought down. Be brought up, sister. The Instagram girl clapped back at Wale, and she had a good point. Here's her response. She said, I just think it's funny that a rapper who said he posted this meme did it to uplift a black woman, but he did it by putting one down. This is the girl who put the picture up. And it seems females feel better about themselves by putting me down. Man, Cuss words crazy. But these same black people want to talk about injustices, discrimination, and lack of togetherness as a race. It seems people only come together for fights and bullying. Y'all some funny black people, I swear. That is a good point. That is a good point. He's both uplifting and belittling a black woman at the same time. It's like, you know what, Wale? I hadn't thought about that. Like, maybe if he had did it in a picture, I mean, without the picture, if he would have just said it, like, yo, these big booty things ain't, I'm sorry to, like, whatever, and not put the picture of her. But I don't know. People keep saying he be making twerking songs. What's up, Cross? I don't know that him making twerking songs means he wants girls to get big booty. I don't know if that's a causal explanation. Yeah, I know he's using her as an example, but at the same time, she's not like, it wasn't a cartoon. It's a person. So he did belittle one black woman to make the point that we need to uplift other correlation. That's the word, a causal correlation. I couldn't think of that for nothing, Valcine. Somebody, K. Antoinette said, "Girl, shut up." She made herself a spectacle of ridicule. But I don't know. I don't know that it means that she did. She did look. Yazzie, get out of here. Talking about little booties can be twerked. He had a moment of conscience, but he's still belittling black women in his music. That's true. That's true. He should have used a cartoon. That would have made the point better without belittling. But the thing that I agree with most about Wale is that we don't do a good job of uplifting our women. We got to make sure they feel it's, and let me tell you where it starts, okay? Let me tell you where it starts. It starts with fathers uplifting their daughters. Fathers have got to be the first person to instill confidence, self-beauty, self-worth. If your daddy, there was a comedian who had a joke saying it's much easier to get a girl from a single mom to let him smash. But girls from two-parent homes, their father be instilling them a different kind of hope, and they don't be so easy to take down. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that if your father's in the picture, it's much harder to be like, just for her to accept any old thing. That daddy got to be in there telling baby, you beautiful, you're strong, you're fast, you're important, you're perfect the way you are, because I think you naturally yearn for that attention. And if the first yearning that you're turning to is black men, and they ain't got no father to tell them to appreciate black women and how to respect a woman and how to talk to a woman and how to treat a woman, then they ain't know. And if neither side got a dad, then they're going to learn from their friends and from the media. If you don't have your parents teaching you something, you're going to learn it from the media and from your friends. And it's a whole, and that's rap music, that's videos, that's movies. You learn it from the other source. You're going to learn it from somewhere. So it really starts with black men instilling that beauty and self-confidence and self-worth in their daughters. And that'll build them up. And like, my daddy said I'm beautiful. I don't care what you say, oh, ugly, busted tail. You're like, oh, excuse me. But you don't have that dad to instill that in you, then you go looking for the man, and the man ain't got no dad to teach him how to love a woman. And the cycle continues. I think it's a given to make sure the father is a good example. Teach your children how to respect themselves and how to respect others, and then it will be easier. Because what's happening is the first thing that they hear is the negative thing. The first thing that they hear is negative. Hugh said, Wale is the same dude who has a song, Is it bad that I never made love, but I sure know how to F? Yes, he is. I think that's totally unrelated to what he's saying. I think that's totally unrelated to what we're talking about. There's a lot of women who have never made love, but they know how to have sex good. Perfect example of what I was talking about with not having fathers. You can be good at sex just because you've had a lot of sex. That doesn't mean that you know how to love somebody and you know how to nurture somebody. Anything you practice a lot, you'll be good at. If you practice having sex, you will be good at sex. If I practice playing basketball, I'll be good at playing basketball. You You know how to work. That's all I'm saying. That's my song, Stormcloud XO. And there's a difference between having sex and making love. You can just be like, okay, this works for... If you have 100 sex partners and you know what... If I do a flip like this, if I do this, that'd be working. And if I do that, that'd be working. You got 17 moves to go from. Eventually, one's going to work. She's like, well, let me flip this. Let me... You got all these moves underneath your belt. Something's going to work. But that just means you had a lot of sex. Sex is physical, love is spiritual. And that's the point Wale was making in the song. You can make somebody... listen, man, men will have sex with anything. With a hole. Anything. With a hole. Okay? Beautiful or quasi. If it got a hole and it's available, they'll put their in a donut. They sell fake vaginas. Men will put it in anything. It's just like a plug into a socket. Is a socket available? I just need to charge my phone. The lights are off. It don't matter what you look like. The lights are off. Is it a hole? Is it the right hole? I don't know. It's in. So let's not... Yes, HIV. That's how you can kitchen drain, all types of stuff. Hair bun. Beauty Bay Barn NC says black men are to blame. I don't know. I think black men are part of the problem. We are definitely part of the problem because we have not uplifted our women enough. But I think that, and we haven't raised our daughters enough. But I don't think we're 100% responsible. That's what I'll say. We are part of the problem, but I don't know that we're 100% responsible. And I think Wale's post kind of made it seem like we're 100% responsible. I don't even know if it's 50-50. It might be, it's multi-tier. It's like, you know what it is? There's not one thing. It's like people always say black people go to jail because they're criminals. Okay? There's a lot more things that go into crime than just the color of your skin. It's lack of education, it's poverty, it's lack of work resources, it's overcrowding, it's lack of the ability to go, it's redlining has an effect. So it's not one thing. It's a lot of multiple factors. It might not be the same factor for anybody else, right? I may be poor because I have electrical education. I may be poor because another person may be poor because their parents are in jail. Another person may be poor because they have lack of education or resources. And you have all these people living in the same area where everybody's poor, everybody's hungry, a lot of people don't have their parents, and you're going to have crime. Social economic status has a larger role to play than skin color. And it's the same thing with this. It's not just one thing. It's a lot of factors. And yes, some things date all the way back to slavery. And people love to be like, well, slavery is over. You guys can't stop. You got to stop blaming slavery. Well, here's the thing, guys. Wealth is generational. And I know we're off booties, but that's all right. Because that's what Periscope is. It's a conversation. Wealth is generational. If your family started with slaves and they used slaves to build the foundation of a strong business, and then when slavery was over, they still had that wealth to pass along to their children, and your family was rich for a long time, and you got land because your father passed it to his father, passed it to their father, passed it to your father, you can't say slavery has nothing to do with that. Because your family been wealthy for 100 years, then you are benefiting from the residual effects of the slavery economy. And the same thing is if you were a slave, if both our families start 500 years ago, and then your family was a slave owner and my family was a slave, you can't expect that 500 years later we'll be on the same playing field. Especially when you take into account that when black people who were successful right after slavery were get killed, if I see somebody being successful and they get lynched for being uppity, why would I want to even be successful? I want to keep my head down and be just above poor, because just above poor keeps me alive, while somebody else can be as rich as possible. You don't want to be too rich, because then the people come burn your house down, kill your family. So I'm going to stay just above poor. And then you tell your kids, don't go to college because college makes you uppity. And then you get uppity and you get killed. So to protect people's children, they would tell them not to go to college and not to get too good of a job. And then you throw in the good old boy system, or white privilege, where the people in power have one skin tone and they keep giving jobs to the people with the same skin tone while simultaneously keeping people with the other skin tone away from those good jobs. Those effects last for a lifetime. So you can't say slavery is over. Slavery is over, but the effects are still there. And the black family been destroyed since slavery. People were sold off and broken since slavery. And it's been hard to put back together. History is my favorite subject. I don't know if y'all know that. But the nadir is a time right after slavery, and that was worse than slavery. I wrote a paper on that, and that was my finest work in college. The nadir, which was the time right after slavery, was the worst time. It was worse than slavery, because white people, at least when they are your property, they have some semblance of some need to protect you. But once you're not property, you can't do nothing for me, I got to hire you, then you got to go. I don't care if you live or die, because you can't help me. And we could talk about the prison system. Jesus, the prison system. Whoo! Let me tell you something about the prison system. Another thing that is not an overnight problem. It's easy to say, well, more black men are in jail than white men, because black people are more criminal than white men. That's the easy answer. It's not the truth, though. Let's take minimum sentencing. Okay? Cocaine. Pure cocaine. You get caught with that, intent to distribute, you get 2 or 3 years. Minimum sentencing for crack, which is the rock form of cocaine, 10, 15 years. So we talk about poverty and the education system. You put all those people in that city, and then you give them that drug that will, for a white person, if they get caught with that, they get a year, or they get sent to probation or something. And the black person gets it, they get 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Well, then you would have more people of one color going to prison, because the same crime with a different form of drug will land you there. Now, let's take into account that prison is now, for the most part, a for-profit system. And there's been cases where prisons were paying judges kickbacks to make sure that people would go to jail. Anytime your business is a profit, you make sure that you have the most customers. So if it's in my best interest, if I run a prison, I don't make money if people are not in prison. So what do? I pay a judge money to make sure people keep coming to prison. I make sure that when you're in prison, you take away books and resources so that you can't get out of prison. And then I send people back to the same thing. And you wonder why people are in prison, because the system is built to keep people in prison. Prison should not be a for-profit system. But it is. And anytime profit can be made, people will make sure they have customers. So you take into account racial profiling and stop and frisk. Well, black people get arrested more. Why? Well, a lot of times cops stop and frisk black people more often than others. So if you have 10 criminals out of 100, and 5 are black, 5 are white, but there's 50, and out of the 100, there's 50 black and 50 white. If you frisk all the black people, you're going to find all the 5 criminals that are black. If you only frisk one white person, you probably won't find that one. So if the cops tend to go into the same neighborhoods, go and frisk the same people, then go and arrest them, then more often than not, they're going to get arrested and sent to prison. And you know what keeps you out of jail? Money. Have you ever watched How to Get Away with Murder and any of those things? If you have money for a good lawyer, you can get out of jail a lot easier. And what do poor people not have a lot of? Money. And when you don't have money, you have a public defendant who has 1,000 cases and doesn't really care. And you got one white kid who drove his car and killed 7 people, but his family has a couple $100,000 and is willing to pay the top lawyer, then guess who's probably not going to go to jail? That white kid. So again, there's a lot that goes into it. The biggest factor for going to jail and not going to jail is money. And who has most of the money in America? Mexican people be going to jail too. That's why most of the people in prison are people who don't have money. Because when you get out of prison, what do you still not have? Money. So you go back to crime to make money. If you get out of prison and your family's rich, you can be on house arrest. You don't have to do nothing else because you got money. So I don't know when we got all the way from booty to this, but it's not just, of course there's some rich prisoners. There's always an exception to the rule. You can't get a job, nobody helps you, you're going to go back to whatever you did. Yeah, black people do spend money. We're the biggest consumers, but that don't mean we have businesses to own. And you don't even want to talk about Black Wall Street when there was a whole booming black economy in Oklahoma and it was all types of rich black businesses. People always say black people never help each other and all that type of stuff. Read up on Black Wall Street. There was a time when black people did. And guess what? Burnt to the ground. Burnt to the ground. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, black people don't never rise together. We have. But guess who had a vested interest in not having black people rise together? They burnt it all down, killed everybody. And that has residual effects. If you are a kid whose dad is a rich business person and who's black, and that person gets killed and lynched and hung on a tree, you think you want to go be rich? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So read up on Black Wall Street if you haven't heard about that. There's a perfect example of when black people had a boom economy, black-owned businesses, and black people were helping and sharing each other, and it was destroyed. And it wasn't because black people were doing crabs in a bucket. We talked about booty landing. You missed it. We went all the way from booty to slavery. Crabs in a bucket, not crabs and a bucket. I know. This is why I like Periscope, though, because the topic can change and we can morph and move, and it's great. It's all related. Black booty is related to slavery in some ways. Booty and systematic oppression, the black man's problem. From booty to jail. This is a conversation. This is what I like about Periscope. It's a conversation. It's a conversation. So how do we fix it? Whew. Oh boy. There's a lot that would need to happen to fix it. I'm just praying is a good start. Praying is a good start. Honestly, I wouldn't even know the first step. I think a good step would be for fathers to stay with their wives and build a strong family. Strong families are the linchpin to strong communities. And what the black community doesn't have is a lot of strong families. You don't have a strong family, it's hard to care. Like, one thing that I hate about where we are, and I'm a part of this problem, when we were young and there was a neighborhood, the neighborhood was a community. If I was running down the street and I was 3 blocks over and I messed with something, that mom knew my mom. And she called Sheila, Kevin, and him was over here fighting. I done whooped them both. And when we were coming up, it was okay for the neighbors and the family to discipline because it was a community. But now we're so segmented that we don't care much about what happens to somebody else as long as it's not us. But if it ain't happening to somebody else, it's always cool until it happens to right next door. But we have to care about, I heard something about, I don't know the quote exactly. But if you don't care about it until it's you, there's going to be nobody to care about it when it's you. Something along those lines. If you only care when it's you and you didn't care for nobody else, then there's not going to be nobody left to care for you. So I think the biggest part to begin is to have strong families. And the church used to be like a meeting place for the strong families. Like if you watch things like Selma and stuff, politicians came to the church, and the church had a big deal, and the church was representative of all the families. But we don't have families, and people are not in church like they used to, or people are part of the members are coming to church or whatever, all that type of stuff. So I think what each of us can do is make sure we have a strong family. So that's that. And I don't know if Jay's coming on or anything. This is a great conversation, though. Jay's not even in here. Support Kev's. Okay, Angelica, she emailed me and said I don't plug my movie enough. I don't know why. I don't like asking for stuff, I guess. But if you want to support the black community, go to the FamilyExchange.com or Family Exchange Film and get the family. I know, guys. I'm sorry. FamilyExchangeFilm.com. Stormcloud, I think it will be fixed. I think it can be fixed. I just think it takes time. The same way it took years and years to make it bad, it takes years and years to get it right. I don't know why. Guys, I'm not good. I'm not good at this, okay? FamilyExchangeFilm.com. See that? FamilyExchangeFilm.com. If you're in LA, come to the movie premiere on Sunday. Thank you, Angelica. Blue Love, you said Love and Tigers. I was like, what are you talking about? Movie's only $5. And quiet as Kev's Periscope, it's only going to be like $7.50 when I raise the price. It's just, I'm not really into it to make money. I want most people to buy it. I want people to buy it. I want to buy it. I'm mad at work because my car broke down. You must have missed that, Scope, Mrs. TJR. My car broke down last night, and it's at the shop. And my job is like an hour and 20 minutes away. What about people like Raven Simone? I don't know. No, they haven't called me yet. He said he was going to start looking at it this morning. Angelica told me to trade a song for a movie plug. I haven't sang that much in this scope. I don't know if y'all noticed. I haven't sang hardly at all. Outside of the welcome song, I haven't sang no songs. Do I think legalizing marijuana would benefit the black community? You know what's interesting about that? This is a crazy thought, okay? This is a crazy thought, but go with me. A lot of major drug dealers who were black had great, brilliant business minds. You know how brilliant you have to be to have a $200 million business that is illegal? You have to have the business smarts to make the business, and you also have to do it and protect yourself from law enforcement. So their mind was smart and sharp. They just did it a thing that was illegal. But if that same guy had the opportunity to run a Fortune 500 company, you think the smarts are any different? I don't think so. So I think what's happened is a lot of our great minds have been wasted and lost to the penal system because they built business with lieutenants. I mean, they basically built a corporation. And they just used it in the wrong way. So I think if drugs were legal, you would have Freeway Rick Ross and Frank Lucas and all them people. They'd be rich business owners. There are some weed dispensaries that are black owned. But a lot of great minds haven't been nurtured and encouraged. You know what all the great black people have done for the most part? Sports. Black people have focused on sports because that was one thing that white people were not going to be mad at if you were good. That's a way to be smart. People was going to help you. If you're good at sports, we weren't taught in our community to be smart. We were taught to be good at sports. Sports and music. So we went in because white people was cool with them being good at sports and all that. Ain't nobody really caring if you were smart. You could dunk that basketball. And also, when your dad ain't around, look at how many NBA players' parents are single, got single moms. There was a comedian who had a joke that he would leave his kid because if he left his kid, it would give his kid the best chance to be in the NBA. I was like, what? It's pitiful. So we're good at stuff, but sometimes not the right stuff. Well, God bless y'all. I got to clean this house. I'll see y'all at the appointed time. Peace.